Let's go. Let's go. Hi best friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm showing you guys my foundation routine, my updated foundation routine, using my favorite foundation of all time, Becca's Full Coverage Foundation in Sienna. This is my favorite foundation ever. So if you want to see how I got my skin like this and how I do it on my daily basis, well, not daily basis because I don't wear makeup every day, but you know, when I do put on makeup, if you want to see how I got my face like this, then keep on watching. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna moisturize my skin with the Cetaphil moisturizer. This is lightweight and it's for sensitive skin. I love this because I do have sensitive skin, and it doesn't feel heavy. It just it feels like, you know how Fix Plus feels when you spray it on your face. This is what that does for me. I am an oily texture, so this does not leave me oily. So the primer I'm going to use today is the Becca Cosmetics Pores Invisible Ever Matte primer. I'm going to take a pea size of this primer and I'm going to put it in my T-zone, the areas that I get oily the most. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this NYX Corrector and Concealer palette. This is a dupe to the MAC Corrector and Concealer palette. It looks like this. I would say the MAC formula is a bit creamier, but the NYX, you can't beat it. Like the MAC, I think costs between $35 and $40, and the NYX is about $5 to $7. So I mean, I actually really like this. This is a full coverage concealer, and I use it for my brows and to conceal under my eyes when I do use it. I haven't used that orange corrector yet. The corrector I usually use is the e.l.f. corrector. I really love this, but because I have this corrector palette right here, I'm gonna correct underneath my eyes, around my mouth, and anywhere else I think that needs a little bit of loving. Because I am really matte in my T-zone area, I like to go in with my Mercier powder, and I like to set my primer. Go in with this e.l.f. powder brush to lightly pack the product on my face. I like to set my primer because it gives me more wear time for my foundation. I do not get as oily as fast as I would usually do if I wouldn't do this step. So you can skip this step, but I love this step, and I think any oily girl should try this step. Set your primer, you'll thank me later. So now that I look like a little ashy chocolate person, I am going to go on with my favorite foundation. This is the Becca Cosmetics Ultimate Coverage Foundation. I'm in the color Sienna. The tube looks like this. This is a very expensive foundation, I would say, but it's worth it. I've literally had 3 of these thus far. I believe they last up, for me, up to about 6 to 8 months. So yeah, like you'll get the bang for your buck with this, but it is pretty expensive. I think it's about $58 for this jar. I don't typically use a lot of foundations because I will go in with powder and concealer anyway, so I just want a light coat of foundation on my face. So I go in with the smallest amount of foundation and I blend it out with my beauty blender. This is what my face looked like with one light coat of the Becca Full Coverage Foundation. As you can see, it does a really great job at covering a lot of imperfections, but also remember, I did color correct. So after foundation, I usually like to contour before I highlight. I saw in my comments that a lot of you was complaining that my contour stick costs too much. So I'm gonna let y'all know I got some dupes for y'all, okay? I usually go in and I'll contour with my Bobbi Brown stick in the color Espresso. This is what Espresso look like, right? It's this deep chocolate color, but it has a red undertone to it, but the red undertone is not too empowering, so it still gives you a good, you know, contour if you're somebody of my skin tone. Another product you can use besides that Bobbi Brown color that'll give you the same effect, but it won't be as prominent. You can use the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick in Earth, and Earth looks like this. So as you can see, Earth is not as warm as Bobbi Brown. It still gets the job done. I also picked this concealer up from NYX. This is in Deep Espresso. Ooh, you know I like that name. Just take my finger in there and I'm gonna swatch it against these colors. Ooh, Ooh, okay, NYX is a little bit darker than both of them. Ooh, let's contour with this today. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna take a foundation brush and I'm gonna just go directly into the product. And I'm gonna use my Real Techniques buffer brush to buff my contour into my skin. Okay, so what y'all think? I think NYX did the job. And guess how much that concealer costs? I think about $5. So, you know, y'all can't say I don't come through with affordable products. You don't have to have Bobbi Brown. This is actually deeper than Bobbi Brown, to be honest. And it's giving me real contourness and bronziness right now. I fucks with it. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back in with my NYX Corrector and Concealer palette, and I'm gonna take the second to the darkest color, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of this under my eyes, because my next concealer, if I just put it directly under my eyes, I find that it turns me gray. So to brighten up under my eyes, I'm gonna go in with this NARS Radiant Concealer. I use the color Amande. You just use this to highlight. On my highlight and contour, I like to go back in with my buffer brush that I use to contour with, and I'm gonna just merge the two together. So I am gonna go back in with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I'm gonna set all the places that I just highlighted, and I'm gonna also set my nose. That is a must. I have to set my nose. My beauty blender has been wet throughout this whole process, so I'm gonna just, you know, set. And I like using a wet beauty blender. A wet beauty blender does not make my face feel dry. It pushes moisture into my face. I don't like the feeling of a dry face at all. So while I'm baking, I'm gonna go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. This is a custom contour palette I made. These are the colors that you guys should focus on right here. This is Cinnamon, Espresso, and Carob. I like to use Cinnamon and Espresso together to give me a transition color, and then I like to go in with Carob and Espresso to give me my darkened contour color. And I like to do that because it's like a gradient. It gives my face a gradient effect, and it won't just be a harsh color there on my face. So I'm gonna just use a contour brush for Morphe, and I'm gonna contour everywhere that does not have powder. I am going to go back in with this e.l.f. powder brush, and I'm going to press all the translucent powder into my skin because I don't want to waste this powder, because this powder costs too much, and because I found out again that my makeup lasts longer when I just don't dust it off and I just push it in. But if you are not onto the, like, you know, the cakey look, even though my makeup really don't be looking cakey, but it, you know, it's layers of foundation. If you don't like that, then I wouldn't suggest you do this step. I would suggest you just dust it off. I'm going to use my LA Girls Pro Face Powder in Chestnut. I'm going to use my e.l.f. face brush to apply the product to my face. I'm doing this step because this eliminates flashbacks for me. I did a video on this step. I will link it down below. But basically what the video says is that applying a color, your skin tone color, over your powder will eliminate flashbacks, and it'll stop you from looking ashy. There's nothing worse than, you know, somebody that has a bomb face of makeup on and, you know, it's blended to perfection, but they look ashy. So, you know, eliminate ash. Put a face tone powder on top of your translucent. I am going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in Peach Nectar. This is my favorite highlighter of all time thus far. And to complete my foundation face routine, I like to go on with this blush from MAC. This is in the color Format. This is a bronzy shimmer blush, and I like to use this to bronze my skin up. It just leaves, like, you know, a sun-kissed glow, and I just love that. So I'm gonna put this all over my cheeks and above my contour, between my contour and my highlight, and I'm gonna dust a little bit on my forehead, and I'm gonna just use some Fix Plus, and that's the end of this foundation. Ain't talking to no nigga if he ain't talking about this cash. And you know I stay ready every time them cameras flash, like, hey,